Good afternoon and welcome back to the National Volleyball Centre here in Kettering as we have our third final of the day on court number one, and we have the Women's Shield Battle of Bristol. Bristol versus Bedminster. These two sides have met twice in the regular season, but now they have a chance with silverware on the line. Michael Hunter-Morris alongside Essex Rebels women's head coach Alex Chinnery. Alex, always a lot at stake when there's a local derby in.
Yeah, absolutely. These two teams know each other well. Probably the players know one another personally as well as on the court. So there's definitely going to be some edge to this one, and I think we're in for an absolute treat.
Indeed, and obviously these two sides both promoted as well, so they will see each other in Division 1 next season. Bedminster coming through an unexpected playoffs, but nonetheless through the playoffs, and Bristol having won Division 2 West. We'll talk more about that as we go. But Alex, obviously the big kicker for these two teams is, even if they hadn't got promoted, is not only you get a chance to compete for silverware, but you qualify for next year's National Cup as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there's a really good thing. It's the National Cup's a really great tournament, and especially with the changes this year, making it a higher level tournament where only the teams in Division 1, the Super League and Bucks Prem can enter. It just brings some great competition, and you know, these teams who are in Division 2, they get the chance to play in this final. They may draw Mallory Eagles away or at home in the first round of the Cup next year, and that'll be such a great opportunity for them moving forward.
Well, funny enough, you should say that. I did have a quick chat with head coach of Bemi, Gary Burnt, before, and he said quite fancy side out in round one at home next year. So, but that's the draw for some of these teams. Obviously, they both qualify anyway for being but National 1, but that's the lovely part about the Shield, is obviously that step up. And obviously we saw a couple of teams this year from last year's final have a couple of big ties. The London Bears ended up playing team side out Bologna, and obviously Leicester Athena played yourselves in the round, and that's part of the fun about the National Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I loved that game against Leicester. It was very different for us. We had no tape to prepare on the game, which really put us out of our comfort zone a little bit on what we were doing. It also gave me the opportunity to rotate a little bit and give some of my other younger athletes a chance to have a run out. And to be fair, Leicester gave us some issues at times, and they put themselves out there and did a really good job of making life a little bit tough for us. And I think that's the goal you have when you're one of these teams, right, that's in this Shield final. You know, you want to win today. This might be the one chance you get to actually play on the Taraflex here. We spoke about that before the men's Shield game. Like, for a lot of these athletes, this might be the only chance they get to play in this kind of venue in their career. So it's definitely a special day for them.
Indeed, and obviously now let's talk about the two teams, and we'll start with the Division 2 West champions Bristol, 10-2 season in a really tight pool to finish 2 points ahead of Team South Wales, 3 ahead of Bedminster, and that Division 2 championship got them into Division 1, and obviously coming through a tough challenge as well in the Cup, winning 3-0 against Wombourne, 3-1 against Cambridge, 3-1 against Sheffield from Division 2 North, and then in the semi-final went to Northampton, another team that were in the promotion hunt in Division 2 East, winning 3-1. So for this Bristol side, a really strong season, just 2 losses on the year. Now have a lot of confidence, having beaten Bedminster twice in the league going into this game.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that you can beat a team is so important. You know, come back to this last season from our perspective, and we got a huge 5-set win against team side out Bologna in the league phase, 2-0 down against them in the semi-final and the final 4. The girls turn around and go, we've done this before. We've beaten this team in 5 before. So knowing that you can come into the game and win, Bristol have been far more clinical in their meetings against Bedminster this season. Bedminster put up much more of a fight in the second meeting this year in February, and that's a good sign for us coming into this game that it might be a close one.
Yeah, I was able to catch up with Bristol head coach Marco Cecchini before the game, and he was talking about how obviously this Bristol team won Division 1 last year, got relegated, and they basically changed everything up. Some of the players remain, but really it's a fairly new group. His new role as the head coach of the team as well. So really the job in terms of achievement is done. Yes, the Shield is important, winning this game, but the job was, you said, can you challenge for promotion? Well, they've done that. They've ticked that box, made the Shield final, which is a huge achievement, and now they've just got an opportunity to go out and basically almost end a dream season for the team, and that's really helpful for the players going in.
Yeah, Maro's he's a super intelligent coach. He was at the University of Bristol in the Bucks Prem for a good few years, and I've gone up against him a number of times. And you know, despite a talent mismatch in a lot of those games, he makes life tough and sets up his team really well. And it's shown with this Bristol team, the way they've been able to play all year, only dropping 2 games. Yeah, it's always tough when you get relegated. You know, a lot of players that season they get relegated, they think, do I want to carry on playing? Is it time for me to give it up? But when you look down this roster, Amy Baldwin's been at Bristol a long time. She's played there for a number of years now. Millie Cattell was at the University of Nottingham a couple of years ago and is a talented outside hitter. Definitely someone to watch in this game.
Indeed, and obviously the other team from the Bristol area, Bedminster, finished third in the league, as we said, 1 point behind South Wales, but in the playoffs, obviously 3-1 loss to Northampton in a game that didn't mean anything. Well, that's a different matter, but the win that got them promoted was a 3-2 victory over Doncaster. They came from 2-1 down, won the 5th set 15-8, but speaking to Gary Burton before the game, that was their first 5th set of the year. So for them to come through, win that, it meant there was no pressure in that Northampton game. A huge step for Bedminster, and obviously then that promotion took all the pressure off, and it's a big achievement for them to be able to go in and go through. And they had a really tough road to get here as well. Beat Black Country in a tough first round game. 2 Division 2 teams matching up 3-1. Beat Jess Smith's Milton Keynes City 3-0 back in January. Beat Dark Star Derby second team 3-0 in February. Bearing in mind Dark Star had a big run themselves and narrowly lost out into promotion to Division 3. And then the semi-final beat Loughborough Student Riders, who got promoted from Division 2 North. Won 3 sets to 0, 25-21, 27-25, 25-19. So for Bedminster, playing their better volleyball at the back end of the season, which is huge.
Yeah, my good friend Caitlin Slade is the head coach of that Loughborough Students team. And she said that Bedminster were really, really impressive with the way they played. Very calm, able to put the ball where they want it to, able to play in space and cause a younger Loughborough team some issues with using the experience they have in their roster. They've got a couple of young players on this team as well, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they perform coming into this game.
As we see our referees who have just been welcomed to the court, our lead referee David Tapacho will take the chair, assisted by Fiona Cottrell, as we welcome Bedminster to the court, and they'll be led out by number 5, the middle, Evelyn Stanarte, number 6, Sarah Pavanel, number 9, Jung Hae Wong, number 10, Juliet Cavallo, number 12, Annalot Niehaus, number 15, Lucia Constantini, and their starting libero. We'll see both liberos. We'll talk about that in a minute. Say Nim Chan, and the head coach, of course, Gary Burton for Bemi. You'll see in the score graphic, both teams in blue. Always lovely. So on the score graphic, obviously the libero colours are the ones we're using on the screen to help you guys at home, as we now welcome the Bristol team onto the floor, and they'll be led out by their captain, number 6, Millie Cattell, and she'll start alongside number 2, Amy Baldwin, number 4, Maria Valdebrino, number 12, Levi Painter, number 16, their setter, Beatrice Gutierrez Gonzalez, and number 17, Sarah McLean. Their starting liberos, Sylvia Bertie. As both teams about ready to start the Shield final. Over on court number 2, Ston Grammar, 3 points away from taking a 2-0 lead over Richmond in the under-16 final. You can join Jess Smith and Shiloh on the call for that one, or stick with us here on court number 1 as we're about to get the final underway. And Alex, interesting for Bedminster, we talked about it a little bit through Super League, the advantage of having 2 liberos. Bedminster go with the serve libero, go with the serve receive libero, so trying to get them both settled early on is going to be important.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to get them into their their key points of their games. It's a system that can work really, really well for you, especially if one of them is, or they're doing their jobs as well as they can.
So underway here, Bristol with the opening serve. Bemi in the lighter blue, find the kill. Little push over for Bemi by Sarah Pavanel, and that'll be the opening point. Perfect side out to start the game.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful piece of play. A wonderful pass. The passing technique was fantastic from the libero there.
Bristol can't be in system, so Bertie will have to play over from the backcourt, and then a miscommunication. Popped in the air, but no one from Bristol really wanting it. Sorry, no one from Bemi, and Bristol ties up at one set apiece. Does that count as a libero kill?
No, be an error from on the Bedminster side. But
oh, we love a libero kill though. Not quite clean enough. Cross court early on. Again, neither set are quite comfortable. And another pass, and no one wanting to take communication. And Bemi, their mistakes you can't have in a final.
Yeah, we saw some of this from the men's shield final early on, just adjusting to playing on the Taraflex, just making sure that they've got themselves into this game is going to be key.
So backcourt, 3 meter, even though she was front row, goes over and into the antenna by the captain, Cattell.
Yeah, just a tough start from both teams right now. They're potentially taking a little bit too much risk in what they're trying to do. Just need to play their way into the game a little bit.
So 2-2 early on. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll keep an eye on them as the serve well left by Bertie over the baseline by Stianate, and she'll head to the bench on the middle rotation and into the front court for Bedminster is Constantini. As into the block, and there's Amy Baldwin. I actually talked about a little bit before the game.
Yeah, really experienced player, and that's a really, really great read. You know, the slightly higher set into the middle, able to read it, know the ball's going there, and put the ball on the floor.
As a huge dig by Bertie on the pancake, able to keep Bristol alive down the line. Good positioning from the back row of Bristol. That was Painter with the dig, but Bevy's still in control of the rally, and they find the kill eventually from the pipe.
Yeah, just a pretty scrappy rally. Lots of ball trying to be played into space. I think that's going to be the massive key today. Can you get that third touch to go over into a spot where it gets the opposition out of system and gives you the chance to force them into an error?
Not the cleanest contact on the serve, but able to go over and over the baseline. Spells Patel, and obviously she got that experience with the Nottingham system, so for her she'll be kind of a glue piece to this system. But right now, neither team just in rhythm. Better initial pass, and the lefty tip. Great pickup by Bemi, keeping it alive yet again. Cattell with the little push, finds the floor this time, but huge defense by Wong in particular on the scramble on the second touch. Underhand set, lefty swing into the block. Second time we've seen the Bristol block have some success, and again, Alex, you can just see it there, a little bit predictable, well partnered up.
Yeah, you can see the setter saying to her hitter afterwards, apologising for that ball, and I'm not surprised because the set was too far inside. And again, set inside, the block brings into play.
Bristol scrambling and trying to put almost a free ball over again. Just not quite on the same line. It was Valdebeno with the attempt on the free ball. And really right now it's just about both teams getting some nerves out of the system.
Yeah, it's been a really scrappy game so far. Neither team being able to adjust to being on the Terraflex yet.
As see Bemi being a team that like to serve through the middle of the floor. And another one over the baseline goes Valdebeno.
People at home might be thinking, Alex, how do you know these two teams are nervous in the way they're playing? A lot of it, the way they're serving to zone 6, super safe serve into the middle of the court. The way they're not trying to go for their swing half the time. That's what's doing it. You see there, a little bit of pressure put on the serve and you can force an ace going deep into that corner. Really, really nice float serve.
Yeah, Chung Hae Wong on the service rotation. Obviously playing some opposite as well, but being a left-hander, a little bit of a change in rhythm for the service receivers. Bristol trying to run the middle, but stuffed on the block by Constantini.
Really, really nice block. Just reads the middle play well there and able to get up and put the ball on the floor. Superb block.
As Wong again scrambling on the serve receive and will find the ace. Great attempt on the second touch by Gutierrez Gonzalez, but right now Bristol just a little bit out of sync and a change in the system defensively.
One of the areas that the game's changed a lot recently is the float serve passes are starting much further forward in defense, and Bristol have been caught out here a couple of times by being too deep when the serve comes in short.
Painter with a better touch, but again, not able to generate offense, and the server Wong from the backcourt finds the middle of the net. But a big service run for Bemi, and they still have a 2-point lead, 9-7 early on in set 1 here in the Women's Shield final, as the left-handed Cattell with the serve. Bertie again trying to play it aggressively up near the 3-meter line, trying to generate a little bit quicker ball for her team. Tip by Neos into the back corner, well played, but free ball for Bedminster. Again going out to Neos over the top of the block. That's an overpass on the dig, but Bristol able to recycle. Longest rally of this opening game. Pipe. Attack for Pavanel again. Both teams trying to figure each other out, and that ball hitting the back edge of the line. Huge swing for Valdebeno in the back row, and
really,
that'll just get her confidence going.
Yeah, really good swing into space. That shot's going to score for you over and over again, and it's a great, great one.
So Cattell back, set a dump. Bertie able to just about keep it alive. Bristol making Bedminster work to find kills, and this time the one-on-one block through the middle. We've seen it a minute ago with Constantini having success on McLaren, and now the other way round.
When you run at this tempo in the middle, slightly slower than first tempo, your middles have to attack angles to the corners of the court. They cannot attack straight. It's really easy for the middle blocker to just sit, wait to see where the set goes, and go up straight. You have to go to the corners a lot better than these middles are doing right now.
Again, little scoop tip over tight. So chooses to go over on touch 2, does Gutierrez Gonzalez, and there, much better from Bedminster, a little bit more aggressive on the swing.
Great aggression on the swing, fantastic setting decision as well. Using the momentum of the ball, being a little bit out of system, just flipping it to her opposite, who's able to get out the back row, put in a swing that makes the player move and forces the error.
High pass, good dig on the back row by Pavanel, able to keep the ball on the recycle. A little bit of miscommunication from Bemi, but again forcing the overpass on the side over, and not quite sure if that was a block or an overpass. Wong is on the floor. Hopefully she's okay, but again, Valdebeno able to find the finish, and she's just settled in from those early couple of errors, and that ties up 10 points apiece as she goes back to serve. Again, Bemi trying to run through the pipe a little bit. Maybe not expected that time, so not able to put a good swing on it. Wong from the back. Roll shot. Big pickup by Bertie again. That's the third or fourth big dig for the Bristol libero. As tip into the middle by Stenate. Gets it recycled. Bertie with another one away to her left. Valdebreno aggressive from the back. Wong, good angle. That's going to go into near the bench, but Bristol again keep it alive. Wong, interesting decision to go early. Can't find the kill, but makes the dig down the line. That ball's going to go over. So Bristol in system. McLaren had to wait on it. Neither team really able to set up a full swing. Wong again from that back row opposite position. Block on the middle. Huge long rally. And it results in the error. Big one for Bedminster to win. Painter goes long, but both defenses doing a lot of work early on and trying to ask questions of the attacking units.
Yeah, I'd like to start to see a little bit more of a higher level attack in play coming into this one. There's some mismatches in the front row for setters to exploit, and they started to do it a little bit and need to do it a little bit more, getting the outsides over the setters when they're in and blocking.
Nieuwenhuis with service pressure earns aside the free ball. Another middle attack, and again the one-on-one block. Second time we've seen McLaren have success, and again, just predictable, lining up the ball just a little bit too high, and she could really just line it up down the middle.
It's actually really, really good middle play from McLaren. She just sits on the route, waits to see where the attacker's coming in, gets up, really good timing, really good press, and is able to score the point.
McLaren as the middle, back to serve. Cattell aggressive, trying to play it off the 3-meter line. Another big play by Newn, who's at the back, and little tip down the line. Lovely decision. Seen Pavanel a couple of times go to that tip, but that line a lot more inside, and that opened up the chance to go down the line.
That's such a European shot. You see it all the time. Young European players, that ball set a little bit inside. They step in almost off 1 foot and then tip the ball back away from the momentum down the line to score.
As the serve, trying to paint the back corner was Cavallo, but she just about misses. Wasn't out by a lot, and they're the service areas you're okay with.
Yeah, you can live with that. Going for the serve, going to serve to score, absolutely something you can live with.
And the ace, not quite, I don't think, by a reaction what she planned, but nonetheless, Gutierrez Gonzalez finds the floor. And she'll go again, and again a confusion on the serve receive. That ball's going to go over, and it killed off nice and easy by Painter. The Bedminster team feels like communication not quite on point right now. First kill of the game for Painter. Back set by Cavallo into the net, and Gary Burton might be thinking about a timeout. This lead just starting to stretch out for Bristol. It's a 3-point lead at the moment. As big swing on the cross court by Pavanel. That's not an easy ball. You have to really go 2-2 or 2-2 on that, and does a good job keeping it tight to the net.
Yeah, did a really good job of making the defender have to make a decision. You know, that ball might have been going out, but she made it really, really hard for the defender to not play it.
As Gutierrez does play it again. Bristol scrambling. Defense has held up well. As into the block, gets a recycle. Wong has to tip it, tips it onto the top of the net tape. Doesn't quite get the roll, but not the easiest shot for the opposite, kind of fading back. And again, Bristol making defensive plays.
I actually think this game will come down to whichever setter makes the best and most smart decisions. Right now, the setters that are making the safer, smarter decisions are the ones that are winning points for their team.
As Patel with the big swing goes through the seam on the back row, finds the baseline, and there is the timeout by Gary Burton. And Bristol again have just started to grow. You can see they've settled a little bit quicker than Bedminster. The basics are kind of coming back, especially on that communication aspect. And I think that's got to be a big concern for Gary Burton. It's even if you're nervous, communication's the one thing you have to be able to rely on.
Yeah, you started to see Valderrabano put the ball away, and then Painter started to put the ball away, and now Cattell's starting to put the ball away for Bristol, and suddenly they're up 4 points. If these 3 pins get into the game for Bristol, then this one's going to be over relatively quickly. Bedminster have to start finding a way to score points quickly to force errors out of this Bristol team, put them out of system, make life as hard as you can for them. When you're coming in against the team you've lost to twice, you can't just do the exact same thing again. You have to try and make life difficult for them.
And it's interesting that they do have a setting potential change on the bench. Joel Lazaroto, the captain of the team, set in the game against Doncaster. So she might be an option if they don't feel like things are tidying up. As another set for Wong. She's seen a lot of ball early on. Huge dig by Cattell. Bertie gets a touch but can't quite keep it alive. But kind of need one of the outsides to get going here for Bedminster. It's starting to become a little bit predictable. Looking for Wong on the opposite.
Yeah, Wong's a really good attacker, but she's not going to be your volume attacker. You need someone else to step up and start to make some points.
Bertie again going on service, even a big swing down the line, finds again the seam on the back row between 1 and 6.
Super smart swing. Just keep putting it into that space and you're going to keep scoring.
There's a little bit of confusion by Baldwin of where she wanted to serve from, but gets it over. Wong into the block, gets the touch by Valdebreno, and Bemi trying to stay alive in this set, trail by 3.
Bemi have done a really good job of not spiralling here in this set. Bristol has started to come on really strong in the middle of the set, and Bemi is still in touch. They're only 3 points behind.
But third service error of the set.
That's a killer. Just as you start to get a little bit of momentum back, you make that kind of error and lose.
As Cattell over pass on the set. Another one killed away, and this Bemi defense hasn't quite got the rhythm yet. As Gary Burton again going to talk it over. Trailing by 5, 20-15, and the serve receive for Bemi isn't quite there, and it's really forcing the setter Calvo to really scramble.
Yeah, they just need to be a little bit more intentional about what they're trying to achieve here. They're playing a little bit nervous, a little bit rigid in how they're trying to play. Just need to be a little bit smoother, a little bit more flow to this game for Bedminster. Try and feel it, take the occasion out of the game, and just play the game that's in front of you right now.
As second timeout, 20-15 the score. And it'll be Cattell, the lefty, back on the service line. Inside ball for Constantini. Can't again find the kill. This Bristol defense causing issues as Wong has to play the tip. Bertie on the overpass. Well played by the middles and killed off once again by Bristol. And Valdebreno, who started really slowly, has really grown into the game. And there, all the work done though by the middle on McLaren.
Yeah, she's having a monster game so far, just involved over and over again, and is a big reason why Bristol are up 6 points.
As Nieuwenhuis from the side, big dig on the back row by Pavanel. But Bristol in system, long set out, goes down the line and just misses, but better set.
That's a wonderful set from Bristol there. That ball in a perfect spot for Valderrama to swing on. I'm not worried about that miss either if I'm a coach. I want my outside to go in for that swing down the line. It's so dangerous.
This time the overset, Chana thinks she got caught in two minds. I think it was probably a ball going for McLaren, but Rana Bueno couldn't get there either.
Just 4 points in it now.
And killed off again. Much better. You can see these teams both comfortable when the pass or the dig is good, and that's what neither team have found established early on.
Yeah, McLaren's going to keep growing into this game if Bristol can get their ball control on point.
So Bristol 3 points away. Won't get any closer on the serving error. As Bertie, perfect pass. Another long set out. Great defense on the back row by Nieuwenhuis and Wong combining. And big attempt on the block. It looked like Stenate had got it set up, but able to squeeze it through.
Yeah, these attackers coming from low angles are so hard to block. They're just able to edge the ball down in between the blocker and the net, and it's a great way to score if you can do it.
As the cross court, and that's the encouragement for Bedminster they need. That's great pass and a really attacking, aggressive swing.
Yeah, Pavanel has to get going if Bemi want to get back into this game. She's the one who can put the ball on the floor for them.
Bertie coming up to take the serve. Another pinpoint pass, middle for Baldwin. You can see how much that means. But lovely read by Baldwin as well, just to come off, find the gap and wait for the ball a little bit rather than chasing it.
Yeah, really, really smart set. Good swing, on time, open to the setter, able to create that relationship.
As Wong from the left side this time has to go with the tip over the block. Cattell. Another back set, and I think they're going to call a net touch on the block attempt by Painter, just trying to be a little bit aggressive, close off the angle too much. As the serve down to the corner. Bristol trying to close out set number one into the block, and unfortunately double touch for Cattell. She knew it as soon as she went with it.
Yeah, this is where the pressure just starts to come on you now after losing.
The referee's just called a change of ends, but I thought Bedminster won the point. Indeed they did. So we carry on, 24-21. Bristol haven't got converted on 2 set points. However, the missed serve by Stenate will close the set out. And Bristol take it 25-21. And Alex, really difference in there was the serve-receive unit early on as neither team settled, but then Bristol started just to find the setter Gutierrez-Gonzalez in a little bit more rhythm. That just allowed them just to diversify the offense a little bit.
Yeah, Bristol started to play a lot better out of the mid-system. plays, those balls that are not quite perfect but not really out of system. They started to find their outsides and give their outsides and Cattell in the opposite position the chance to score in those. That's going to be key. Bemi have to be able to play in that zone a little bit more moving forward if they're going to make good things happen. Over on court 2 right now, Urmston Grammar have 8 championship points to sweep Richmond 3-0 in the U16 boys final.
Not just 1 championship point, but 8.
8 championship points.
Obviously, these 2 teams will meet in the 15s tomorrow's monster block. But for Bedminster, Alex, it's disappointing set, but there's also things that are fixable, right? It's not like you're just coming in and getting completely outplayed. It's the communication, the serve receiver, things that you can fix and you can do. So that's going to give them some encouragement that they didn't play well in set 1, but still got it to 21.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they attacked well when they were able to get Pavanel on the ball, when they were able to get Wong swinging on the ball. They were able to make plays and score points. They're a smart team, and Bristol are going to make mistakes. You're going to have the opportunity, if you are Bemi, to stay in this one. You just have to hold, essentially, as Urmston become U16 boys national champions on court 2. So happy for Howard and Heinze and the staff there at Urmston Grammar. They do amazing things.
So as we dig into set number 1 here, getting ready for set number 2, we'll have a quick look at the numbers, Alex, and I think we talked about it interestingly that Bristol found the offense 11 kills in set number 1 compared to 8 for Bedminster. But the 4 blocks really came through, and it's the 2 middles that especially McLean is starting to do some damage. And it was an area that head coach for Bedminster, Gary Burton, talked about in the pre-game with me, talked about that being a little bit more of an area they knew they needed to play around a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge impact from both Bristol middle blockers in this one, and if that continues, I think this is another 3-0 sweep here on finals day.
Indeed, an error count is 7-5, but 5 of those errors for Bedminster of the 7 were on serve. So it'll be interesting to see if they can tidy it up. Offensively, it wasn't as bad as it looked. It's 9 errors to 9. Both teams with 9 errors, but 5 of the Bedminster ones on serve. So that is kind of the key bit for them, is reduce service errors, and then that serve receive unit. If you can get going, you've got a chance to go in this game.
Yeah, your serve can do a fantastic job of taking pressure off your reception unit. And I think that is something that Bemi can absolutely do moving in this one. Can they put Bristol under a little bit of pressure themselves?
As Sarah McLean with 5 points for Bristol. Pavanel and Wong both with 5 for Bedminster, but that says a lot that none of those other players of Bedminster have really got going on the attacking aim outside of Pavanel and Wong. Let's see if they can get something going as we're about to start set number 2. As the cross-court swing for Bristol by Painter beats the libero Constantino.
Really smart swing just into a spot where the libero couldn't make the play on it.
As Bertie steps up, a little bit miscommunication, but able to get it over. Bertie again in the right place. She's had a really solid game from the libero spot. As Wong with an aggressive swing on the second touch. And the cross court beats the libero Chan again. Second kill in a row for Painter.
If she starts to warm up into this game, then it's over. Bristol are just going to have too much offensively for Bemi.
And Bristol Bedminster wanting the tip on the swing
It looked like a really, really good swing from Cattell. She's very unlucky that didn't go. Looked to me to be pretty close to the baseline, but I'm a long way away, and the line judge is right on the line.
I think she also was claiming initially a tip, but and that one dots the baseline again. Bemi again having to work to find offense, but
Smart swing though into the corner, into the gap, and able to get the pipe kill. The serve goes over, passed up by Bertie for Bristol. Free ball over, now Bemi can play. They go to Wong, and she's able to put it away in the middle of the court. Great play again.
And it's really key. It's getting that first ball, get the setter in position, get them really settled into the swing. And Wong's been a big part of the offense. As the serve into the net by Pavanel.
When you don't take your time to do your service routine and use the full 8 seconds, it's such a momentum killer when you then miss. Just take your time. And it happens again there for Bristol. You have 8 seconds after the referee blows his whistle. Wait, breathe, collect yourself so that you can actually get this ball in play and try and build a little bit of momentum in this game.
So back to serve is Stanarte, the middle. Gutierrez Gonzalez doing a good job, but trying to go deep was Valdebrena, and she puts it over the baseline. And this feels kind of a bit like the start of set one. Outside of a couple of early kills by Painter, both teams just giving each other points.
Yeah, this is what Bemi would have wanted, though. Just try and get a little bit of a lead. Try and stay in a little bit of a lead for as much of this set as you can.
Good cross-court dig by Lazaretto, who did start this game, this set as set. I missed that rotation, and she'll now have a chance to set from the 3-meter line. Little roll over the net, picked up on defense by Bristol, and Valdebreno again into the antenna on the net. But we talked about that setting change, Alex, as 1 week ago, and again, it comes from the serve receive, but having 2 options on the bench always nice as a head coach if one hasn't quite settled.
That's it, and it can be that. You can be just trying to settle down your starting setter. I've done that a few times this season where we've just needed to give the player on court a little bit of a break, and you know that the player on the bench can step in and still run things at a high level.
That one off the top of the net tape, well picked up by Pavanel, but over, so a chance to go, and really awkward angle for Valdebreno, but she squeezes it through the block, does well to avoid the antenna.
That's a big confidence building swing for her, that one. Just had a few errors in a row, unable to get it where she wanted it to, and now Bristol are back within a point.
Back set, Wong steps into it, big cross court, but well put out, and on the back end, Lazarosso got crossed up on the swing, and great outer system play for Bristol.
Cattell's starting to find her range a little bit now. That lefty opposite swing is super impressive when she gets it going.
It's another service error, this time by Baldwin. As Cattell goes with the tip down the line, and Nijos was scrambling to get across for the block and was never going to be able to really do much with that one.
Bristol have suddenly just started to look really polished again in the last couple of points. Doing a really, really good job of just getting back, clawing their way back into this, calming themselves down and playing.
As a perfect side out, started by Pavanel on the pass, but big kill for Nijos, who's being quiet. on the offensive end.
Yeah, they need to start getting her going a little bit more. Right, try and match Bristol and their ability to play with these three off pin hitters.
Big serve gets the defense of Valdebreno scrambling as the set tight, and Lazzarotto couldn't quite deal with it. I think she was worried about the block.
Yeah, a little bit tight. Needed to just kind of get under it and fire it up into the hands, try and bait the invasion call on the Bristol middle blocker.
As we are tied 8 points apiece, set number 2. As Chan able to get involved in the game. High ball given up by Bertie. Backcourt pipe. Fortunately brings News into the front court, so can't put a proper swing on it. But Bedminster win the point as Painter goes long.
And sometimes Bemi are going to have to do that. Just live to fight another day. Really, really good play of just getting through and putting Bristol under a little bit of pressure, and it forces the issue for them.
As a serve into the net by Constantini. Another serve error for Bedminster. That's their 8th service error of this final. As Bristol have a chance to set it. It was meant to be a set for the middle, but it actually set. Oh, they're actually going to call a tip. Interesting, as I think Baldwin thought she'd missed it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the referee's the only one who saw that tip. I wondered if
I think the back line judge was the one that he pointed to.
It's a great spot if that was touched on the way through.
As the serve way off the baseline by McLaren. And Alex, we'll have a... The good news is, even if we don't have a replay, we have a replay ability up here in the commentary box, as we have YouTube. So we'll have a look at that one at home. As the serve moving away a little bit from Bristol, but able to hand it well. Another underhand set. Wong does a really good job tipping it. Bertie pulls it over. Wong has to stand and wait. Tries to go line, but misses it. Bertie was trying to play it, I think, but it beat her. But unfortunately also beat the sideline.
Yeah, just completely in the wrong place playing defense on that ball, and funnily enough was able to miss it and has benefited from that. Bemi just struggling to find any kind of rhythm right now in this game. Look like they're passing on 5 in this rotation, which very rarely goes well in this game. If lots of space, not got people in filling seams.
Back set into the block. Good swing by Pavanel. Cross court dug up by Constantino. We've not seen a lot of, and down the line goes Nihus. She paints it.
Yeah, really, really great swing. Just saw the gap, was able to make the play. Exactly what Bemi needed in that moment. They level it up 12-all.
As into the block goes Cattell. Was Donate who lined it up, and Bristol all of a sudden from what looked like a fairly, wasn't never comfortable lead, but a solid lead, trail 13-12 in set number 2.
Yeah, they just need the team able to establish any kind of dominant rhythm on this game right now. I think if one of these teams could just hold a little bit more, build a little bit of rhythm, then this set and ideally the game is there for the taking for them. Bristol were able to do it in set one. Maybe Coach Ceccarini can get them in and doing it after this timeout.
As Bedminster, with the breaking of the coaches rule at the timeout. Strong serve by Pavanel.
Great bit of defense there from the Bemi setter.
As into the block, Bedminster able to recycle. It's going to be a free ball for Bristol. The middle takes it. Little bit tight set for Gutierrez Gonzalez, but big cross caught by Cattell, dug up by Constantino. And unfortunately goes over the baseline, does Pavanel.
Never quite looked in rhythm when she was swinging on that ball. It's a nice set. Good opportunity to put Bristol under some pressure, but they were unable to do so. Touched ace there for Bristol. Great deep serve, but just unable to control it were Bedminster.
And we are tied at 14 apiece all of a sudden. As the ace again down the line. Levi Painter with back-to-back aces. No ace this time. Tight set. One goes with the lefty punch, but can't get it over the net. It's one of those, Alex, you chasing it. Sometimes it's just better just to bump it over and just be safe and try the high-risk shot.
Yeah, and I think from the setter's perspective as well, just need to keep the ball off the net a little bit and make it so that your attacker has a chance to play.
Oh, as we just get a bit confusing. Gary Button did hit the buzzer. The referee didn't quite pick it up. The referee then called for play, but obviously the buzzer had already gone, which does grant the timeout. So Bedminster going to talk it over. 16-14 down in set number 2. So Bedminster 1-0 down in this Battle of Bristol against the Bristol team that beat them twice in the regular season, but trailing by 2 in set number 2. As Wong, much better, goes into the block. Tight joust, won by Baldwin. In fact, not won by Baldwin. Ball never went over the net, so it's going to be 4 touches called on Bemi instead.
Bristol now just opened up a nice 3-point lead, starting to put some pressure again on Bemi as we get to the crunch time in this set.
As not quite an ace. In fact, it is an ace as Risotto was on her back, trying to play it almost like she was playing sitting volleyball, but couldn't quite get it over the net. Great idea by the setter. Well, couldn't do a lot else, I suppose, but right idea. Unfortunately, couldn't quite put the power on it, and all of a sudden that 2-point lead has become 4, and Bemi desperately need that side out, but going to struggle, and Nihus puts it over the baseline.
Painter's done a really good job in this set for Bristol, just been able to hold the serve into the right location, put some pressure on Bemi. When she's had the opportunity to swing, she's swung to score. Really, really good player.
As Cattell into the block, ball high up and gets the kill. The libero, Chan was trying to get there, but was never really going to, and the two front court players both leave the ball. As the pipe attack off the top of the net and touched up by Stanati, but again, the Bemi defense not alive for that potential second touch. And the ball rolls into the net, and all of a sudden, Bristol in cruise control in set number 2. Reminder, Bedminster did leave this 12 points to 10, and all of a sudden 12 of the next 14 go in Bristol's favour, and we'll get to have a look at that one again as into the block, and that Bristol block has really been a factor. Breno that time getting the touch. You can see her a little bit flexing on that as Nihus has to go back. Ball over the net, keeps it alive, and Bertie will give up the free ball. As Wong into the block, well touched up. Nearly a miscommunication, but Bemi able to keep it alive again. No real swing though, as Cattell has to go tight angle on the cross court. Finds Wong as Pavanels goes into the net from the pipe.
Yeah, the setter for Bemi just doesn't know where to go on this ball right now, and she sets Pavanel there. Pavanel's nowhere near ready to swing on that ball, and it's always going to be for an error. Just very little confidence in the way Bemi are playing right now.
This set has spiraled out of control, and there's another error. And Bristol will have 10 set points. As the Bristol contingent making noise.
What a really great job out of the timeout from Ceccarini and Bristol. They've made a couple of switches and just done things really well to close this set out.
It's Painter on the service line. Into the block goes Wong. Gets it recycled. Niehaus with the touch. Allows Gutierrez Gonzalez to attack. Long ball goes down the line and closed out strongly by Breno. And Bristol trailed midway through and just absolutely put on a clinic. And a big swing by Breno. He's not had a best game, but that's a confidence building swing going into set number 3.
Yeah, really, really smart swing. It's been Painter rather than her that has scored for them in this one, but that was a really great opportunity for Vivaldo Breno to close that set out and get some confidence.
We're going to take a quick break here at the National Volleyball Centre in Kettering. Be back with us as Bristol one set away from the Women's Shield Championship. Welcome back to National Volleyball Centre here in Kettering. Game number 5 of Cup Finals 2025. Already had a win for Leeds Gorse in the under-16 women's, Urmston Grammar in the under-16 boys, Wessex in the men's shield, and Sitting Bucks in the Sitting Volleyball Grand Prix. And Bristol are 1 set away, leading their next door neighbours, Bedminster, 2-0 in this final. 25-14 was the score in set number 2 after Bedminster couldn't quite close out set number 1. It's Bristol taking that 25-21 as we're about to get underway in set number 3. And it'll be Bristol with first serve. Wong with the pass into the block of Baldwin and Gutierrez Gonzalez. Bit of a decoy run by Stanate. That ball going into the pipe as Baldwin on a mini slide finds the kill.
Yeah, nice little offensive design there from Bristol to open this set up. Good to get Baldwin a swing. She's had a really good game and has been really efficient when she's had the opportunity to attack the ball.
So McLaren, the middle, pushes Wong way out to her left, forces the overpass. Gutierrez Gonzalez decides to put a swing on it rather than setting it. And McLaren with the back row defense playing as the middle. As another long rally as Cattell goes down and splits the gap between 6 and 5. Niehaus takes responsibility for it, but can also want your setter, your libero to maybe take that. Wasn't too far away to her right.
Really great swing deep into the seam. Exactly what you want from your oppo hitting a 10 ball.
As serve goes long by McLaren, but happy with that from your middle. 2 good serves, 2 points to start.
Yeah, exactly the start you want. You want Bemi to be shown that they're not in this set and not in this game moving forward.
As Bedminster going back to the set at the start, as Bertie had a big touch on that, but free ball for Bedminster. They'll push it out wide, and Pavanel with the kill. Much better from Cavallo, who didn't have a great set 1, but also didn't have a lot of ball to deal with. And there, you see when she's got her feet set and she's in rhythm, can really help this Bedminster offense out.
Yeah, exactly where that ball needed to go, and they're able to score from it.
As little chase, Cattell's going to give up the free ball as Wong has to go back on it, and I think they're going to call a double touch on the setter. Indeed they are.
Yeah, David Tapacho, the first referee, super experienced. See him up at Durham all the time in the Super League and makes a great call under a little bit of pressure there.
As Bedminster give up the free ball, going to get it scrambling over on 1, so they'll have a chance to set up offense out of system. As Wong into the block of Baldwin, and another big block, and that's where Bristol really separated themselves in today's game.
Yeah, their blocking's been excellent so far. Really, really good play. Coach Ceccarini is fired up on the sidelines.
As Bertie again steps into it. Baldwin splits the block. And again,
Really
perfect
nice
piece of
set.
hitting.
Really nice set. Able to just go at the gap in between the 2 blockers. Amy Baldwin's having a really, really good game right now.
As Bristol again with defense. Bertie will set from the backcourt, finds Patel. She goes into the net.
Hey, if you're Bristol and you're up 3 right now, you can take some chances, you can go after things and make some good things happen.
It is 5-3. Just had to temporarily lose our scoreboard operator as a huge cross-court swing And we know that is what Millie Cattell is capable of, the bed. So the Bristol captain as it'll be Painter back to serve. Wong has to again go with that tip coming way inside from that right side. Good block touch this time by Bedminster. Niehaus trying to find the kill, but Cattell on it. She's going to have to scramble, do well to keep that alive. It's a big play by Millie Cattell, not to give up the point easily, as Wong goes cross-court, touch, scrambled up by Painter, and a great attempt right in front of us by the setter, Gutierrez Gonzalez, but can't keep it alive. But Bristol's defense really forcing Bedminster to earn points multiple times over almost.
Yeah, some really, really good scramble play there. And, you know, Cattell fighting for that ball. The other outside's fighting for that ball for Bristol. And they're not going to let Bemi get easy points to get back into this one.
As Baldwin has to wait for it from the middle, but puts a big swing on it and beats Cavallo, the setter.
Yeah, huge swing from Amy Baldwin.
Again, the ball coming just a little bit inside as a huge play from Constantine. That was not an easy ball. She instead went to try and push it into the back corner, caught the Bristol defence a little bit off guard, and can see there the discussion with the Bristol back line, just trying to move away. And so often we see those defences move to right on the angle. As Bristol going through the middle, this time it's McLaren able to set up and wait for it, and against pretty much an open net. No mistake.
These two Bristol middles have been the big mismatch today in this game. They've been able to score over and over again.
As Nieuwenhuis on the serve. Again, going to the middle. Good block touch for Bemi. Will give up the free ball. Going to be tight set. And Bristol can't keep it alive. Big couple of blocks by the front row of Bedminster. If they're going to get back into this game, they need a little bit more of that from the blocking unit. Yeah,
absolutely. You know, need to make sure they shut down, make sure they get two up on this high ball set in the middle from Bristol.
As down the line goes Valdebrena, but it's dug out by Wong. And into the block and goes wide, but much better by Bedminster. They'll be okay with losing points that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great swing from McLaren. She sees the gap, she sees the ability to go off hand and score, and does it really, really well there.
Trying to create those touches, what we really want, but giving themselves an opportunity. As Valdebreno goes line on the serve, finds Chan. A little bit of an overpass, not killed off the first time by McLaren, but she'll get another block touch. Scramble, McLaren again, another block touch, and it goes over for the kill, and McLaren looks to the sky in disbelief. She thought she'd done enough.
Yeah, Bemi just starting to get a little bit of momentum coming back in this one. They've closed the gap a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout if they win this point from Bristol. Bristol just need to regain some control and keep playing.
As Valdebrena gets crossed up on the serve, but Bertie able to put it over again. Big swing on the cross court by Pavanel, going against the double block. Moro Fagini gonna talk it over with his side. Not quite a timeout yet, but we saw what the timeout did in set number 2, swung the momentum. So agree with you, Alex. Probably not far away. Bedminster can go, but what you don't want to do is a nice easy ball for Bertie, and McLaren goes into the net.
Bedminster just got to stay here. Keep not making errors. Keep making life a little bit tough on Bristol right now. If they do that, they give themselves the opportunity to score points.
As another serve causing problems, and free ball given up for Bedminster. Really want to try and go through, but McLaren there with the monster block.
Huge block from Sarah McLaren. Sees where that ball is set to, takes half a step, goes up, presses over, and puts the ball on the floor brilliantly.
McLaren up to 8 points on the day. 4 kills, 4 blocks for the Bristol middle. As can't do anything on the cross-court swing by Pavanel, who's starting to find a little bit of success, and we talked about needing to take some of the pressure off Wong, who has been quite in set 3, and Pavanel's starting to carry the load for Bemi.
Yeah, she's starting to make some really smart swings and keep them ahead in this set. And she started a little bit in set 2 and has really continued that in this third set so far.
Out of system. Good swing by Painter, though, really putting pressure on the defense, and that ball clips the line on the cross court.
As Bemi's outsides have started to come into this third set, the Bristol outsides have started to struggle a little bit in this one. Bristol down by 2. They call a timeout. Coach Ceccarini does what he needs to do. Here he's got to regroup with this team, try and get them to win and get back on top in this set.
Indeed, but we've seen how effective that timeout was in set 2, and it's, again, just about tidying up a little bit of the serve reception unit, as some of the Essex Rebels players starting to enter the building. The Men's National Cup final up next. Mallow Eagles, Essex Rebels, and we've seen the 2 games, Alex, this year both go to 5, and this is a Men's Cup final that is wide, wide open.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Luckily enough, going to be able to sit in the stands as a fan and watch it, and I think it's going to be a cracker.
But before that, we've got to get this Women's Shield game finished. Bedminster come out the timeout with a 2-point lead, but make that one on the service error.
Hey, coach's point. Marrow getting a win with that timeout already.
As the ball out to Wong, goes into the block of Cattell, going to put it over on the second touch, not wanting to set. As, again, another block touch. And it'll be a free ball for Bristol. Trying to go down the middle. Neuenhouse with the split, and Wong splits the block. Finds the floor, and much better from Bedminster.
Yeah, really strong offense, able to play through the block really, really well there. And it's a great swing that she's made, going into the gap, pushing things and making it tough for.
As Bristol make a couple of changes into the game for the first time, wearing 3. Anita Nunez as the setter, and she'll be joined by number 9, Martina Tremoli, as Bemi again out of system, but Wong off the top of the net. That is too much for Painter to deal with. A little change in direction late, as communication happening between our second referee and the head coach of Bristol. And Bristol just got to try and settle themselves down if they want to close this out in straight sets. As Wong goes for the tip over the block. Lovely decision by Wong. We've not seen many of those touches from opportunities where she's really set up and attacked the swing.
She's just started to ease her way into this game and doing a really good job again of having an impact on the offense here from Bedminster. They're up 4 because they're making smart decisions all the time.
As goes cross court, and her first swing of the game. Tremoli goes tight cross court, finds the floor. And that's a big one off the bench for Bristol as Painter onto the service line, trailing by 3. Gutierrez Gonzalez, sorry, not Gutierrez Gonzalez, that's the other setter. Cavallo trying to find Wong, but oversets on the bump.
Painter's had a couple of really long service runs in this game, which means now she's going to miss this one into the bottom of the net. But if she can have an impact and try and get Bristol a little bit closer to being level here, it gives them a huge opportunity.
And she's going to get a free ball off that service. Neo's able to put a decent swing on it, middle attack. And Amy Baldwin's really grown into this game, and the Bristol middles are starting to take over.
This is a really smart swing, right? Sees it late and is able to see the ball pops up. She goes up, over the top into the space behind the libero. It's a really good shot that scores a lot if you can do it.
It's much better pass this time. Push it out to Nero. She gets it in between the block. It was Tremoli trying to go up, and substitution for Bemi as again a set of change. So Lazzarotto back into the game. No double sub front court, back court. As serve from Stenate, but a big swing by Valdebreen again splits the position. 1 and 6 in the back row, and Bristol have done a good job really targeting the seams of this Bedminster defence.
Yeah, the Bemi block's a little bit late as well, getting up and over the net, and Bristol have taken advantage of that every time they've had the opportunity to.
As another swing by Tremoli finds the gap, and all of a sudden the subs, timeouts, whatever Bristol have tried to change momentum, when we've done it, it's worked.
Look, I'm a little bit biased because Mauro is a good friend of mine, but I think he's coached a fantastic game today. Every involvement he's had has been meaningful.
As Baldwin, again, Bedminster struggling into the block. As a big first touch, big alive by Bristol, as a great up as a team. Niehaus goes, tries to tip it, but Tremoli able to come off the net and play it. This would be a big point for both sides. It's 16 all in set number 3. Bristol been on the back foot most of this rally. As a big dig out by Pavano in the back row from position 6. Might have to do it again here, but can't get it away to her right. Valdebreno over the top of the block, and it's a big momentum killer, and Gary Burton goes straight over to that timeout buzzer.
Amy Baldwin, the middle blocker for Bristol, serving, came in, had 2 or 3 digs in that rally, kept them in it, and is able to put Bristol on top in this set for the first time in a while. Really, really strong play from them. Exactly what they needed coming into this one.
As Baldwin back to serve. Again, trying to go deep into the court. Back set, Wong has to bump over. So free ball effectively for Bristol. As Wong into the net again, trying to go for that bump and can just see the setting not quite there for her to really attack, and she's having to wait and try and make different decisions.
Yeah, that ball just dying inside a little bit over and over again has made life tough for them right now.
As the ball goes over the baseline from Baldwin, ends her service run. That's a great pass on the back row. Wong gets a touch on it. She'll get a attack from the back line, and that finds the line. Nonev wanted to leave it, understand why, but the ball painting the white line. And all of a sudden, we're 18 apiece in set number 3 in the Women's Shield final. As well handled by Tremoli. It wasn't the easiest ball to swing at, but keeps it alive. McLaren trying to go through the middle, gets a touch on it the second time, and that time finds the kill.
Exactly what Bristol needed. They didn't want to they wanted to arrest that slide as quickly as possible, and they did, and suddenly now they're in the position to take things forward here.
As into the block, McLaren again, that's block number 5 for her on the day.
Just a great finish, closes the space down really well, and able to push through and put the attacker onto the floor. 2-point lead for Bristol here in this one.
As Tremoli's really done a good job off the bench for Bristol. Gets her hands on that one. Has to go down the line. Bedminster really need to find a way to find a tap, but Niehaus can't put a proper swing on it. That's tight as well for Valdebreno. But she'll get it back this time, able to attack. Good dig by Pavanel. Has had a really good game in the back row for Bedminster. But again, they're going to go middle. McLaren gets a touch on it. That ball's going to go over. As Wong into the net from the pipe. Big point for Bristol. As Gary Burton now side trails by 4, and he wants to talk it over, give his side one last opportunity to try and find a way to win this final.
If we're having a good weekend, I think we need to say, yeah. That's all.
As Bristol come out of this timeout, they know 3 points needed here. You're up 4. You can take a lot of confidence into what you're doing. If they get this next point, it's probably curtains.
Indeed, and falls on the hands of Martina Tremoli, who's definitely made an impact in set number 3 off the bench on the double sub. She goes to Chan. Niehaus goes with the tip. McLaren gets a touch on it, but Tremoli couldn't quite get the second one. And a big point for Bedminster. Reminder, both these sides promoted to Division 1. We'll see them next season in that 2 Division 1, as it will become. As Niehaus into the net, gives Bristol a 3-point. And libero change for the first time into the game, wearing 13, Ario Fuki. And she gets a big touch on it. Bristol able to keep it alive, but it's a free ball for Bemi. Wong down the middle, and Tremoli couldn't quite dig it out.
A way to make an impact coming off the bench in as a serving libero, or a libero on serve to go in and get that dig.
I think all liberos want to be able to serve, but not quite a serving libero.
Yeah, not on this side of the pond.
Lucia Constantini on the serve. Bedminster need to find a service run as Wong picks out her opposite number 9. And a huge, huge swing by Painter brings up championship points.
Lovely set right into the window where Painter can swing and swing hard. She swings into the gap. Outstanding performance.
As a service substitution for Bristol. McLaren not going to be able to serve this one out. They're going to bring in Celine Asai Oskay to try and clinch this women's shield. 4 championship points for Bristol. Overpass. Going to be tight on the set. Into the block. Recycle. Bedminster wanting a lift. But they'll win the point as Painter goes into the net. And it'll be Joelle Lazzarotto with a big responsibility. Needs to find 3 points on serve. Push ball out. Has to wait on it. One-handed stab by Constantino. Doesn't result in success. And Bristol complete a terrific season. Division 2 champions. Promoted to Division 1. And they clinched the Women's National Shield, having just dropped 3 sets the entire tournament. Alex, really great play by Bristol, dominated by the middles in particular today, who really stepped up and made a difference.
Yeah, I thought Bristol were the class team throughout. Yeah, their first ball was better, their middles were in the game more, able to make an impact in both the offensive and defensive areas of the game. Bertie, I thought the libero had a fantastic game as well, passed really well, made some really good, strong defensive plays. So, I think Bristol had a really, really strong performance, and the 3 pin attackers also excellent, putting the ball away when needed. Just a great team performance, and one of the first good team performances we've had today.
Yeah, and you look at the top scores from this game. 5 Bristol players had between 7 and 10 points. And the MVP, definitely not an easy decision on this one.
No, it's a tough one. It certainly is, and for me, coming into this one, there's any one of about 5 players you could give it to.
Indeed, and we'll get that decision in a few minutes as the Bristol team celebrate down in front of us. But obviously, for our runners-up in the Shield, Bedminster, great season nonetheless, managing to get promoted into Division 1 through the playoffs, obviously making the final as well. And Gary Burton said before the game, really wanted to enjoy the occasion, and they had some really bright moments, but it was really, I think, controllable errors that hurt them in big spells.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of it's just a case of coming up against a better team. They didn't have middles that could compete with the Bristol middles. They didn't really have, they had pins that could compete a little bit, but they didn't have the quality and depth that this Bristol team had in the way they played. As you said, they had some bright moments. I thought Wong played really well opposite, but Bristol just able to ram home their advantage here and close it out in 3.
As we get ready for the championship presentation on court. As DJ Cad's away to our left, getting the crowd going. Reminder, we have the National Awards currently going on. We'll be able to update you about that in a short while. And of course, both captains just needing to sign the score sheet before we can get our presentation underway. And of course, then the big one of today. The National Cup final between Mallory Eagles UEL and the Essex Rebels. As we're about to give out our awards and presentation party. As our got to give a credit to both sets of fans from the Southwest, Alex. Not a quick trip, Bristol to Kettering's a little bit awkward, but both teams able to bring a lot of support with them at Bedminster Drum, making an impact as well.
Yeah, two great sets of fans. All four teams in the Shield final were able to bring some people along to watch and add to the atmosphere here today on what is one of the best weekends of the year, really, because you've got so many people from all across the volleyball family playing in matches here.
As our presenter for the awards for this game, VE board member Alison Shitway, and she'll first of all present our match officials, David Tapacho and Fiona Cottrell, with their medals. As we now welcome up our silver medalists, Bedminster Volleyball Club. Of course, their captain and setter, Jole Lazzarotto. And then the rest of the team, Seinei Chan, Evelina Stinate, Sarah Pavanel, Chung Hee Wong, Juliet Cavallo, Reda Costino, Annalot Niehuhaus, and Lucia Costantini. And Alex, tough afternoon for Bedminster, but one person that really stood out was Sarah Pavanel. Had a really strong game. Didn't always have the great balls to attack, but managed to place a lot of the shots, and that's allowed Bedminster to try and just claw their way back into the game a couple of times.
Yeah, you just have to look on there. She's the only Bedminster player in the top 7 scoring-wise in total points today, and she had a big impact between her and Wong. They were the only two really for Bedminster that had any kind of impact on the game.
And of course, the head coach for Bedminster, Gary Burton, and assisted on the bench by Lei Heng Dingy Chan. As the Bedminster support gives some love to their side, but now, of course, to our Women's Shield champions, Bristol Volleyball Club, and led by the experience of Millie Cattell. And Alex, didn't see a lot of the ball, but again, you could see some of that experience and some of the calming measures as well. We talked about the influence of the coaching staff, but you could see Millie was active in those moments as well.
Yeah, the whole Bristol team used their experience, and it was just a really experienced performance. Every time they went down a couple of points or things didn't really go their way, they just sat and regrouped, and when they needed a little bit of help externally, Coach Ceccarini brought them in for a timeout, and that had a big impact in 2 of the sets as well. I think to win this Shield competition, experience is so important. 2 juniors in the Bedminster team, none in the Bristol team. And I think that was a big impact today, because this Bristol team, bucket loads of experience and really not affected by the occasion.
And of course, the Bristol roster, number 1, Erin Jeffries, number 2, Amy Baldwin, number 5, Anita Nonev, number 4, Maria Valdebreno, number 7, Bethany Grace Bailey, number 8, Murray Liss Sitz, number 9, Martina Tremoli had a big impact on the bench, off the bench, number 10, Celine Asa Oscar, number 12, Levi Paynton, number 16, Beatrice Gutierrez Gonzalez, number 17, Sarah McLean, and the 2 liberos, number 13, Ario Fuki, and number 26, Sylvia Bertie. And of course, the head coach, as Mario Chirchini, assisted by Inez Gomez, and I assume the injured Lana Shaughnessy, who'd played both in the quarterfinal and the semi-final, as our MVP. Of course, going to a Bristol player and going to number as 6. Sylvia Bertie, who gets the MVP nod. And Alex, not an easy decision, but someone that was an integral part, and you can see what that means to her.
Yeah, had some really, really great defensive plays at key moments. Balls that were a little bit short, that you perhaps wouldn't expect a libero at this level to maybe get down and get. Was able to get down, slide a hand under, slide a fist under, get it to play, plus a really, really good performance in serve receive, able to give Bristol the platform that they could build off and play off.
As Millie Cattell lifts the Shield trophy into the air, gets a hug from her MVP, Sylvia Bertie, and a huge congratulations to our winners, Bedminster. They'll pause for some photos. Alex, appreciate your help as ever up in the commentary. We will take a quick break, but stay with us as we bring you some reaction from the the Bristol camp as they clinch the Shield here at the National Volleyball Centre in Kettering. Welcome back to the National Volleyball Centre, and I'm here with our Shield MVP, Sylvia Bertie. Sylvia, first of all, congratulations. Just talk about what a season you've had as a team.
Thank you. I think we had an amazing season. We grew so much as a team. We were quite a new team. Like, we haven't played a lot together, like, as a team before. So I think we achieved a lot, and I think that's what showed on the court today.
And obviously you came in knowing you'd played Bedminster twice in the league. What
Yeah.
was the message you were given in the build-up to make sure you were focused and clinched the season? Because obviously you won the league, but obviously I knew this was important to you as well,
Yeah.
to finish the season on a high.
I think what we were focusing about training and what the brief today before the match was that we needed to do our game. That's all that matters. As long as we were doing our 100%, then that what was important. And I think that is what shown.
And it is a true team down with Bristol. We had 5 players between 7 and 9 points. And obviously the middles in particular, I think today made an impact through not just the offense, but the defense. So how important is it for you with you knowing you've got trust in those middle blockers to allow you to do what you do so well in the back row?
I think it's great. They do trust me a lot, which is a good feeling. Obviously, I like the oldest, I say, on the team. So they do trust me a lot, which give me more important in the game. So we always play, so they block the opposite of where I am. So I'm able to defend more, which is probably what you've seen.
Indeed, and obviously, yeah. How important was it for you just to make Bedminster earn points today and just make sure that it wasn't necessarily all about your offense trying to find kills, but just making sure you stayed in rallies a lot of the time and asking their hitters in particular to win a point 2 or 3 times rather than just finding clean kills?
I think this is what normally, and this is across the obviously the league as well, we always trying to focus and keep our service as high as possible to try obviously and build up those points of difference. Obviously sometimes that didn't happen today, but I think it was the emotions of the game. Obviously a final is a big deal. But I think then in the end we managed to focus, especially on the third set. We obviously were down a little bit and we managed to go back up and then close the set.
Well, obviously, before we let you go, you've got to talk about your fans as well. Big contingent travelling from the support. And how much does that mean to you as a team when you're on the court playing?
Absolutely a lot. We play for all of our fans in general, but obviously we thank very much everybody that today took the time to come and support us. That was just great to see, and it was great to be able to have them supporting us for the win and to win for them.
Well, it's a terrific season. Division 2 champions, promoted to Division 1. You get to play the National Cup next year, and you top it off with the Shield and, of course, the MVP. Congratulations. That is the final score here in the Women's Shield. Bristol beating their local derby rivals, Bedminster, 25-21, 25-14, 25-21. We'll be back in about an hour for the Men's National Cup game between Mallow Eagles and Essex Rebels. So thank you very much for joining us here from the National Volleyball Centre in Kettering.
Thank you. Bye.
We did it for the Leeds game earlier this morning, and it was one of the players who went, and she was really close.
I literally was not affected that. So thank you so much.
No worries. I hope your celebrations are good.
good. How are you?
I'm very well. Oh no, is it gone?
Yeah. It's not as bad as it was 2 hours ago, but
So I have one more game to go.
at 3 tomorrow. Yeah.
Post game. Would you like to talk about it?
Hey, if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it.
If I think my plan, if you win, I'll bring you up as well, and then we can talk a bit about the journey of the season, but then we'll kind of talk about that.
Yeah.
And if
He
not,
knows I just told him. So not he.
Toby
Toby knows.
We'll judge it by that. If you win, I'll probably bring you up then.
Yeah, whatever.
Let you have a chat about it.
Like, I just told the guys Wednesday, and then I told like Carol, Jeff, and Ian today.
Well, I found out this morning, so I heard him over talking to Rob about it, so I was like, okay. I heard a little bit about it. Yeah.
Rob came and asked me about it. Charlie came and asked me about it. So
Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to step on. I've just spoken to Sally, I didn't want to step on anything that.
It's not like
But also, I'm going to.
it's not like Ginge, where he might get another job coaching. So like,
Yeah, cool. That's fine.
I'm not trying to be recruited anywhere else.
No, that's fine. Perfect. Appreciate it. Well, enjoy the final.
Yeah, it'll be what it'll be.
Five sets would be lovely. We've had 3 sets all done.
what are we doing? When are we going?
After awards, clearly. If you don't go during awards and you stream, I'll get Jess to intro upstairs and then basically throw down when we're ready.
Huh?
Look at you, handsome chap.
Yeah, you know.
Where's it gone?
It's gone, mate. It's just gone.
Look good, mate. Looking good.
What? My eye on a senior national team job, so time to look a little bit more
How
professional.
are you?
One stream, so yeah.
It was, what one? The girls?
Yeah.
Darren's shit? No.
No, Maria's job with
Yeah.
the seniors. Yeah.
Are you ill, or have you just been speaking too much?
I've just been speaking. I've done 2 games on comms already, so
All good though?
yeah, mate. Happy. You know?
Coming trials?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You gonna swing? Is that what you just
No,
said?
I'm too heavy to swing. I'm going to set and I'm going to pass for you.
Centre or liberal?
Wherever I end up, mate. I just want to play. I want to train more than anything. I want that weekly social sport session. So,
I'm nearly at my weight target.
I can't set weight targets yet. I want to know what spring looks like with me. Right now, it's just too much.
I think this is gonna go.
No idea, mate. I have no idea. We'll see.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kettering Conference Centre. This is the home of Volleyball England. This is day one of our Cup finals. We've got one more game coming. The two teams are currently warming up backstage on court two. But as we gather here today, it's with a sense of pride, joy, and above all, gratitude. This evening, we reflect something, celebrate something truly special. The heart and soul of our volleyball community are amazing volunteers. Those that come to events and sit in the red seats may not see all the hours of work that goes on to this event, but also what happens in your clubs behind the scenes. Without our incredible volunteers, none of this would be possible. Their efforts not only keep the game running, but they also inspire, uplift, and create spaces where people can thrive, teams can unite, and the spirit of the sport shines. This afternoon, we had the pleasure of celebrating our fantastic nominees and hearing some amazing stories that reminded us just how impactful one person's contribution can be.
Enjoy it, brother. I will. Sorry, excuse me, please.
The Royal England was saddened to learn the passing of one people. The role of the fans and head coach and club. How was it seeing passion about volleyball, particularly junior volleyball, and took great pride in helping people achieve their potential both on and off the court. He served as head sergeant of the section for 45 years, making an immeasurable contribution.
We're doing the pre-game. I'm dipping out. I've got to save my voice tomorrow.
Great to do so. I'd like to invite you to stand and join me for a minute's applause to celebrate the contribution of Alan's life.
How are you? Yeah, my voice is gone.
Yeah.
Excited for tomorrow?
Yeah, really is.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. And the men playing today after this.
Yeah, guys playing now. So,
Good luck.
yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to watch them. So, there's an email going to come out about national team in the next week. Got some new head coaches for the juniors. Can't say too much, but I'm on that staff. I'm not the head coach, but I'm on the staff.
Yeah.
We want you to be involved.
Also, appreciation, we have our award winners here, and we'd like to bring them forward to
Get yourself there
and
in August.
receive their
Have a
trophies
really
for
good
their
camp and let's see
presentation.
where we go.
We have two presenters we'd like to welcome to the floor. First of all, please welcome Richard Morgan.
Good evening and welcome to the National Volleyball Centre, where we're about to announce our annual award winners.
Richard Morgan is making one presentation today, and that is a very, very special presentation.
It's led by our director, M.P. Mark Perkins.
And this is 2025 award winner from the Leeds Volleyball Club, being presented by Mr. Morgan himself, as you like to
And our
call.
first award is our Serena Morton Inclusion Award, and that goes to the head coach of Leeds Gorse, Elaine Brown. Elaine obviously having just won the under-16 national title with her team earlier this morning. Obviously Leeds Gorse also in under-18 action as well, as Richard Harrison is heading out onto court to announce or hand out our award winners.
An experienced volleyball coach, Richard is a former president of the Coaches Commission. Thank you very much for your time, Richard.
As our first award is the Universal Services Coach of the Year, and from Southampton Volleyball Club is our very own part of commentary team, Luke Wiltshire. We'll hear from Luke during the men's National Cup final as well. But very big congratulations to Luke. Successful season with Southampton on the coast. Our Coach of the Year for children and young people from Lincoln is Caitlin Walsh.
End up with blisters on your hand if you're down there for this.
I've sat through it already. I had to go for the ceremony.
Our young coach of the year from Side Out, mostly known for the beach, but has done a great job assisting with Mark Kontopoulos and the Side Out seniors this year. Sam Sorsky is our young coach of the year, joining a prestigious group of young coaches. Our referee of the year is Hiroko Turner. Unfortunately, Hiroko can't be here, so we are getting someone to accept the award on his behalf.
In a shirt and his referee trousers, iconic.
And that is Glyn Archibald, young referee of the year from the Northeast. Evelyn Lee. Evelyn stepping up and helping out even in the Super League this season as a second referee.
I have a fantastic hairline, that's what it is.
And our volunteer of the year is Marcin Parlowski. Our young volunteer of the year from the Essex Rebels, Benjamin Merry. To a big applause from the Essex men's team who have stopped their warm-ups on the far side. And some of the Essex Rebels women in attendance as well.
Shaping the future.
Our deep dish hero of the year, the Higher Education Volleyball England, is Jolison Santi.
I love him, I think he's a really good
So Shilo Chan coming out to accept the award for Jolison from the University of Nottingham. Obviously the Super League player under head coach Freddie Fairburn. Also one of the 4 universities who took part in an inaugural sitting competition this year that I know Jolson was part of organising as well. Our contribution to volleyball is going to Navaz Sutton, long time chair up in the north east of the Midlands for Lincoln Cannons. Also done some coaching this year as well. Our Unsung Hero Award from Ivy Bridge Community College is Nicholas Hitt.
One of the most important awards now to be presented, the winner of the Top Net Club of the Year.
Our next award is our Huck Net Club of the Year is Bazookas Universe Volleyball Club. You can see a lot of those people, including club chairman, coming out to accept the award. Great to see so many of them coming out for the awards. And those accept their picture, and we have one final award. The Peter Wardell Memorial Award.
Recognising over 30 years of exceptional and selfless contribution to the volleyball. This award recognises continuous dedication of the
Peter Wardell Memorial Award for long-standing contributions over 30 years and nominated by the Heritage Working Project Group and selection by the Volleyball England Board. This is the biggest award Volleyball England have for their volunteers. And this year, this goes to Gillian Harrison.
It is Gillian Harrison.
That's a very prestigious glass trophy. And there are your 2025 annual award winners. Just to run through them again, our Universal Services Coach of the Year for Adults, Luke Wiltshire. Our Coach of the Year for Children and Young People, Caitlin Walsh. Our Young Coach of the Year, Sam Sorsky. Our Referee of the Year, Hiroko Turner. Our Young Referee of the Year, Evelyn Lee. Our Volunteer of the Year, Marcin Pulowski. Our Young Volunteer of the Year, Benjamin Merry. Our Serena Morton Inclusion Award, Elaine Brown. Our Huck Next Club of the Year, Bazookas Universe Volleyball Club. Our Deep Dish Hero of the Year, Jolison Santi. Our Contribution to Volleyball Award goes to Navaz Sutton. Unsung Hero, Nicholas Hitt. And your Pete Wardell Memorial Award, Gillison Harrison. More of those award winners will be shortly on the Volleyball England website. For now, we'll take a quick break here at National Volleyball Centre and join myself, Alex Chinnery, Jess Smith and the team as we get ready for the National Cup final between the Mallory Eagles UEL and the Essex Rebels.